Hiya, this is our Freedom Song, and this is episode 2, Think Like a Villain. What does that mean exactly? It's easy to stay in your own mindset, but you can always see where things are going to end if you look at the darker end of things. For example, do you really think that the whole push for defunding the police is exactly that? What if it wasn't about defunding, but replacing? Again, think like a villain. When you have people who again, are good, people who take an oath to the Constitution, to the Bill of Rights, for individual rights, they're not going to exactly follow orders from a governor. Now, if you fire all of them, that's going to look odd. If you say, well, I don't want these kind of police, I want the police who are going to take an oath to me, well, that's going to be a problem. People with really bad intent don't usually reveal that bad intent. They do it in action. But first, you got to get to that point where everybody's screaming, defund the police, where you can get almost everybody on board. Now, for any rational, logical, critical thinker, people who understand human nature, people who understand history and all those things, that's not the answer, obviously, right? Yes, there's police brutality, but it's very minimal compared to the overall. Again, there are doctors who malpractice. There are doctors who just don't care and they screw something up. Do you say defund doctors? No. You punish the ones in the way through the law and through malpractice suits who screw up. And again, yeah, there needs to be, a lot of things looked at in the way of how we could fix the abuse of power. First of all, we're going to do that too about power, okay? Because we think it's this huge entity, but we'll get to that in a minute. Because again, it's about looking at things a little differently and thinking like a villain. And pretty much going to tell you where things are going to go. So I'm going to put myself in that seat. I'm a governor. And I have too many police that just obey the Constitution, but I want power, paid to achieve this goal, or whether I'm just doing it out of spite. Always think of the intent of something. What is the intent? Start asking the questions, why, and then start answering them. So the first thing I would probably do, is because everybody has a price, is make it appear as though police brutality is on the rise or it's out of control. And again, understand that everybody has a price. That anybody can be bought off. Anything can be staged. You see, once you understand that, now you begin to look at things a little deeper. And this is why you have to rely on certain aspects. The constant. The one thing that changes all of it, that counters all of these attempts. You know what that is? The Constitution. It's quite brilliant, really, when you think about it. But we're not going to get into circumventing the Constitution just yet. We're just going to put people in place who won't honor it. Now, nothing happens overnight. Everything is 30 years in the making. And when you start looking through the perspective, so what's going to happen, right, with Seattle? They're defunding the police. Of course, crime shoots up. Duh. Anybody with any common sense knows it's going to happen. When you decriminalize everything in the world, you become a mecca for rot, right? The worst of human nature. And then, of course, you might, well, you know what? Maybe this defunding wasn't a good idea. We're going to hire back police, but they're not going to hire the ones that left. Oh, no. That defoys the whole point. Again, what you're hoping for is that it's just a moment of absolute Neanderthal stupidity, because that's fixable. You vote them out. But if it's intent, right, that changes everything. And that's the question you have to ask. What is the intent? So again, I wouldn't hire back the cops that left. I'd hire Antifa. Just dress them up a little bit. Make them look a little more suitable for the part. But they're not going to honor the Constitution or your individual liberties or your rights. They're paid off. A group of thugs. And if you think police brutality was a problem before, be ready for the next move. Now, once they're done with that, if they succeed in this intent, the next move would be the military. Then you have nothing. You have nobody in any kind of power position that could help you. You have no judges that are going to honor the Constitution. You have no police that are going to honor it. And now you don't even have the military. So pay attention to what's going on, because my guess, if Biden does actually get sworn in, which we're all hoping he doesn't, regardless of what side you're on, you really don't want that. If that happens, here's what you will see. You will see, of course, martial law being declared in some places, or basically having the National Guard come in because of Seattle, the riots. The riots are going to continue to happen. They need them to happen because they need to try to show the military in a bad light. Therefore, screaming, defund the military, just like as you screamed, defund the police. And then you realize over time, as other countries are potentially getting ready to go to war with us, China, so forth and so on. Oh, wait a minute. We need to recruit. Now, they're not going to recruit people who are good people. Now, are they? This is how it happens throughout history and how it happens throughout countries. There are a lot of ways to get to the goal of absolute control. It almost sounds nefarious, impossible, but is it? Think about it. Let's put this into another interesting perspective. Again, when I say think like a villain. Just to prove a point, maybe you can do this as a social experiment, whatever at a college, okay? Colleges, of course, are kind of becoming the root of all evil, it seems like. Anyway, create a Twitter account, become a blue check mark. Now, the reason for this is that apparently is approved, which means you're part of this particular crowd. Go grab a mega hat. Go find a car. Now, my suggestion if you do this as a social experiment, make sure it's like an abandoned car that somebody donated. Okay. Again, it's to prove a point. Throw it in the backseat. Walk away. Put a camera on it and send out the tweet. Just, look, there's a mega hat in a car. Give the location. And then just sit back and see how many people show up. You're obvious suspects, right? And then you can start making predictions or even estimates of who's going to scratch it. What's the percentage? Break the window. Once the breaking the window occurs, it's mob mentality. Everyone joins in. What percentage would it be before they burn the car? The point is, I don't have to believe in your ideology to use it against you. I can make you do whatever I want if I know how you're going to respond. All I have to do is indoctrinate, build the hate, attach an object to that hate, and set you off into the world. Again, we're thinking like a villain. When you are that easy to control and manipulate, to set off, to just react, anybody can use you for whatever means they need. Welcome to manipulation on a grand scale. And the thing is, in the end, the people who really are pulling the strings, you don't even know who they are. They're not stupid enough to plaster themselves all over the video. No, they use other people for that. Dude, they're not stupid enough to get caught on camera pulling suitcases out from underneath tables with ballots. They're going to let you do that. They're not stupid enough to show up at the car. They're going to let you do that. In the end, you'll find out who they are when they walk on your ashes on the way to their throne. So here's a suggestion to anyone who's easily triggered by a video. Stop. Stop being a pawn. And remember, it's not going to be the people who truly are pulling the strings that go to jail. It's you, the useful idiots. Doing video editing has taught me a lot, and understanding human behavior has taught me a lot more. So how do you know what's true and what isn't? How do you distinguish intent from mistake? How do you find balance in a world of crazy? The answer is think like a villain. How would you remove liberties without people even realizing they're giving them up? How would you swap a police force with more reliable thugs? You take an oath, not to the Constitution, but to whoever has the most money, without it being obvious. I guess the irony of it all is the very people who used to be the great storytellers should know this answer. They should have seen it all play out. It's a story that's been written throughout history. But these very same people are the very same people who are pushing for it. They don't even see the play. I wonder what act we're in, the final or the beginning. All I know is that whoever is pulling the strings, they have to be smiling wide, watching as the little minions attached to them go running off at a moment's notice because of a video, without question, without thought. Just burn. Remember that, Seattle. Your predicament did not happen overnight. Go back in time. And the most fascinating element of all of this is that maybe by rushing everything to try to do their great plan, whatever that may be, maybe they revealed themselves, what they really are. The tyrants, the incapable, the incompetent. I don't know. But it's interesting. If you're from Seattle and listening to this video, I want you to remember back 10 years when they started passing gun laws. And there were people out there protesting. The Second Amendment must never be infringed. What names did you call them? Hillbillies, Bible thumpers, uneducated. Remember that as Antifa comes marching down your street. And the very thing that keeps them from breaking down your door is the fact that you may be armed. The Second Amendment causes the monsters to hesitate. And if it wasn't for those hillbillies, Bible thumpers, and uneducated, as you so call yourselves the educated, which is irony at the best. You would have lost that right a long time ago. I hope that's a silvering fact that you will remember. Because they're going to keep trying. Because a disarmed society has to rely on what? The defunded police. Maybe next time you'll thank the people who tolerate all of the name-calling, the spitting, and the beatings. Because if it wasn't for them 10 years ago, they already would have broken down your door. I guess we'll see what happens from here and see if they get their way. That's up to all of us, though, isn't it? In the end.